Chosen one, you didn't come here by accident. You didn't stumble upon this message. Your spirit was summoned. Something ancient within you led you here. A voice deeper than your mind whispered, "Listen." And so here you are, heart open, ears burning, soul ready. Let me say it plainly. You are not 100% human. You've known this, not with your brain, but with your bones, with the way your heart has never settled, with the way your eyes have searched rooms and skies for something you could never name. Since you were young, you've carried a weight, a knowing that you don't belong here, that something about you is off frequency with the world around you, and you tried to ignore it. You tried to play the role. You laughed at jokes that didn't make sense to your spirit. You walked paths that drained your soul. You stayed in circles that made your light feel like a burden. But no matter how hard you tried, you couldn't conform, because you weren't designed to. You've never truly belonged to this world, and it's not because you're broken, it's because you're sent. Yes, you were sent here. The confusion you've battled, the heaviness you've carried, the isolation that wrapped itself around your youth like a cloak, all of it has a reason. You weren't rejected because you were flawed. You were rejected because your presence exposes what is false. You are not just different. You are divine. This world has told you to forget. It's tried to program you to sleep, to doubt, to shrink, to apologize for your fire. But deep down, something in you refused to die. A small voice kept whispering, "There's more." And that voice is the voice of origin. Chosen one, you are not fully human because your spirit did not begin here. Your life did not start the day your body was born. You existed before time, before flesh, before the fall. You were breathed into existence by the mouth of God himself. You carry his imprint, his memory, his DNA. That is why your eyes see what others cannot. That is why your heart breaks for things they ignore. That is why your body reacts to energy, to atmospheres, to spiritual shifts in ways you can't explain. You are not crazy. You are not overthinking. You are remembering. The enemy has worked overtime to convince you that your sensitivity is weakness, but your sensitivity is discernment. Your isolation is not abandonment. It is preparation. Your restlessness is not dysfunction. It is divine dislocation. You were never meant to feel at home in a world that is passing away. And now, here you are, at the edge of awakening. You feel it, don't you? Something shifting inside you. A quickening, a pull, a fire that is rising again after seasons of being buried beneath disappointment, betrayal, and silence. That fire is your original code reactivating. That fire is truth burning away every lie. That fire is heaven calling you to remember who you are. So I will say it again. You are not 100% human. You are more than flesh and logic, more than struggle and trauma, more than your last mistake or your current confusion. You are spirit, ancient, eternal, encoded with heaven's blueprint. You are a lion walking through a world of sheep, and they feel your presence before you say a word. You are a key sent to unlock generations of bondage. You are a signal, an alarm clock in human form, sent to wake up those who forgot their divinity. So no, chosen one, this is not just a video. This is a divine transmission. This is your spirit's call to rise. Let every lie that told you you're small begin to unravel. Let every voice that told you to dim your light fall silent. Let every false identity that was placed on you burn to ash in the fire of this moment. You were not created to blend in. You were not designed for mediocrity. You were not sent here to survive. You were sent here to shift things, to break curses, to disrupt systems, to speak what others are afraid to say, to carry heaven into dark places. You are not of this world. And now the time has come for you to stop pretending that you are. You've waited long enough. You've wandered far enough. You've second-guessed, delayed, cried, and compromised long enough. But today is the day you return to the truth you've always known, but never dared to claim. You are not 100% human. You are more. You are chosen. You are marked. You are here on assignment. And now, let us go deeper. Let us unravel the mystery of your origin. Chosen one, you've always known you were different, but difference without understanding becomes a burden, and that burden has pressed on your shoulders for far too long. You've tried to carry it with grace. You've smiled through it, prayed through it, endured through it, but still, something inside of you has been crying out for validation, not from people, but from truth, from something that finally sees you as you are, that tells you, without fear or filter, you were never meant to fit in. You were never called to be normal, to walk paths paved by the masses, to blend into systems that were never built for you. That ache in your soul is not confusion. It's clarity being born in a world that thrives on illusion. Look back for a moment. Remember the way you felt in crowded rooms, like a ghost observing the living, the way you picked up the emotions of others as if they were your own, the way loud places drained you, surface talk bored you, and falsehood repelled you. They called it being too sensitive. They told you to toughen up, to stop being dramatic. But what they failed to see is that you weren't fragile. You were tuned in. While others were numb, you were alive. While others were entertained, you were discerning spirits. While others chased comfort, your soul demanded something real. And yes, it was lonely, because difference often isolates before it illuminates. You found yourself on the outside of family gatherings, misjudged in relationships, misunderstood in classrooms, misused in friendships. You poured out when no one poured back. You loved people who could not hold the weight of your heart. You spoke truth in rooms that weren't ready to hear it, and you were punished for it. But let me tell you something. Every wound was prophetic. Every betrayal, a spotlight on your calling. Every rejection, a mirror reflecting your light. Every misunderstanding, a reminder that they cannot see you clearly because you were not meant to be explained. You were meant to be revealed. You were hidden on purpose, not because you were unworthy, but because you were too precious to be exposed prematurely. God wrapped you in mystery. He disguised your glory in ordinariness, because the oil on your life is rare, and rare things are not placed on display. They are preserved. This is why your warfare was never ordinary. This is why you had dreams that others dismissed. This is why depression tried to silence you, anxiety tried to consume you, and shame tried to erase you. The enemy saw your light even when you didn't, and he feared what would happen the day you finally recognized your own reflection. So he sent agents, trauma, fear, religion, toxic people, to dim your vision and dull your sound. He planted lies in childhood, disguised as authority. He wrapped chains around your mind and called them values. He tried to make you forget, but the code in you could not be erased. The call in you could not be denied. Chosen one, your pain was proof. You didn't go through all of that because you were cursed. You went through it because you are anointed. There is a difference between being punished and being prepared, and everything that broke you was actually building you. Every season of isolation was heaven's classroom. Every night you cried alone was a midnight appointment with the God who knows your name. This is why you've been hidden in plain sight. This is why your life never made sense to others. This is why your presence often felt too intense, your voice too strong, your silence too heavy. You are not here to fit the mold. You are here to break it. You are not a follower of trends. You are a forerunner of truth. You are not a reflection of culture. You are a carrier of kingdom. You are not a product of your past. You are a portal to the future. And no, they will not always applaud you. They will not always understand your boundaries, your boldness, your burden. They may accuse you of arrogance when you walk in confidence. They may call you rebellious when you refuse their control. They may label you too much, too deep, too intense. But that's because they are trying to define a frequency they've never encountered before. Chosen one, your frequency is heaven-born, and those not attuned to it will always feel exposed by it. Not because you're judging them, but because your mere presence is a disruption to their slumber. You carry light, and light always irritates those comfortable in darkness. So stop apologizing, stop shrinking, stop questioning your makeup. There is nothing wrong with you. There is something deeply right about you. Your empathy is not weakness, it is spiritual intelligence. Your solitude is not loneliness, it is divine incubation. Your silence is not avoidance, it is sacred discernment. Your struggle is not failure, it is refinement. Your voice is not too much, it is a trumpet that was designed to shake foundations. You were born to challenge, not to comply. You were born to shift atmospheres, not to be consumed by them. You were born to speak what others only dare to think. You were born to carry a sound this earth has never heard before. And yes, it's cost you everything, but what you are carrying is worth more than anything you've lost. So hear me, and hear me clearly. Your difference is not a problem to be solved. It is a prophecy being fulfilled. You are not 100% human because your soul was formed in fire, not flesh. Your essence is woven from eternity, and that's why time has never been able to tame you. You have always sensed there was more to you, and now it's time to stop sensing and start knowing. Chosen one, if you are not 100% human, then what are you? To answer that, we must strip away everything the world has ever told you about identity. We must tear down every label, every category, every box you've been placed in, because the truth of who you are cannot be defined by blood tests, birth certificates, or biology. Your origin is not of earth, it is of spirit. To understand your origin, we must return, not to your childhood, not to your family tree, but to the beginning of all things. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion." Genesis 1:26. Pause and hear that with your spirit. Let us. Who is the us in that verse? That wasn't alone God talking to himself. That was the divine counsel. That was heaven speaking in unity. That was a decision made in eternity between the Father, the Son, and the Spirit to birth a being that would reflect the image of the Most High in multidimensional form. Chosen one, your very design was heaven's idea. You were not formed out of survival. You were formed out of strategy. You were not created to fill space. You were created to shift atmospheres. And when the breath of God entered Adam's lungs, humanity began. But here's the part that most people miss. That breath was not just oxygen. That breath was spirit. That breath was identity. That breath was divine code, passed from eternity into clay. You were never just flesh walking the earth. You were and are spirit wrapped in form, a living vessel carrying divine technology. This is why you've always felt like something was missing. It's not that you lack something, it's that you remember something. You remember what it's like to be in the presence. You remember the frequency of purity. You remember the realms of light. You remember home, because you were sent from there. Your true origin is not your mother's womb. Your first breath was not the day you were born on earth. You were foreknown, foreseen, preordained. Jeremiah 1:5 echoes this. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Did you catch that? Before cells, before skin, before heartbeat, you were known, because you were with him. You came from the Father's heart. You were spoken into existence, not as an afterthought, but as a key, not as a random soul, but as a sent one. And when your soul descended into this realm, into this earth suit, you entered a battlefield, not a playground. You were deployed. Heaven knew what the world would try to do to you. Heaven knew how the systems would work against you. Heaven knew the cost of your awakening, but heaven also knew that the seed planted inside you could never be corrupted. The divine DNA in you cannot be erased, not by trauma, not by abuse, not by sin, failure, religion, or shame, because what's inside of you is not of this world. You may look like everyone else on the outside. You may have grown up in places that try to limit you, cultures that try to define you, churches that try to domesticate you. But your origin is celestial. You are not just from earth. You are a citizen of heaven, a member of the divine family, and your spirit carries memories that cannot be explained with words. That's why, when you hear truth like this, your body chills, your chest tightens, your spirit leaps, because it's not new information, it's remembrance. And the enemy's greatest fear is that you will remember who you are, because when a chosen one remembers, they stop living like a victim, they stop moving like a beggar, they stop reacting to life and start commanding it. You were made in his image. That means you carry his likeness, not just in form, but in function. This is why you speak things and they happen. This is why you dream things before they come to pass. This is why you feel what others can't. This is why the atmosphere shifts when you enter a room. You're not just sensitive. You're coded to sense frequencies and spiritual movement. The Bible says in John 17:16, "They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world." Let that burn in your bones. You are not of this world. Just like Yeshua himself was in it, but not of it, so are you. He was the prototype. You are the continuation. He was the light. You are the carrier. He was the Word made flesh. You are revelation walking. This is why the world could not contain him, and it's why the world doesn't know what to do with you. And let's go deeper. The bloodline you come from isn't just traced through Abraham or David. It's not just the line of prophets or priests. You come from the bloodline of divinity. Yes, your flesh may be born of earth, but your spirit is born of God. And just like Jesus was born of a woman, but seeded by the Holy Spirit, you too carry a hybrid signature, both spirit and flesh, but spirit first, which means you are not bound by earthly limitations. You are not subject to generational curses, though you were sent to break them, you are not confined by biology, culture, or the expectations placed on you by man. You are a child of eternity, clothed in temporary skin. And that, chosen one, is why the world cannot define you. Because you were never sent here to fit in. You were sent here to reveal the unseen. You were not called to blend into the culture. You were called to pierce through it, to awaken the slumbering, to disrupt the cycles, to bring heaven to earth. You are more than your past, more than your pain, more than your personality. You are the mystery of divine origin walking through time. And today, that mystery is being revealed, not just to you, but through you, because your origin is not a story, it's a revelation. And now that you remember where you come from, we must now expose the deception that tried to make you forget. Chosen one, now that you remember where you come from, you must understand what has tried to make you forget. You did not land in a neutral environment. You were born into a system, not just a culture, not just a society, but a deeply spiritual infrastructure, crafted not to empower you, but to erase you. From the moment you arrived in this realm, the world began its work. It greeted your soul with lies wrapped in lullabies. It whispered falsehoods into your innocence, planted seeds of doubt in your spirit before you had the language to fight back. This system, this world matrix, was never built for the chosen ones to thrive in. It was built to bind them. And you felt that resistance your entire life, from classrooms that penalized your sensitivity, to churches that feared your fire, to families that couldn't hold your frequency, to relationships that demanded your light be dimmed to keep their comfort intact. Everything around you was designed to train you out of your divine knowing, because if you ever woke up to your truth, you'd become uncontrollable. So they gave you roles to play. Be the quiet one. Be the helper. Be the forgiver. Be the martyr. Be the good one. Be the silent one. Just don't be the one who remembers, because a chosen one who remembers is a threat. Let's expose it. The school system taught you to memorize facts, but never how to discern truth. It trained you to obey, not to inquire, to follow, not to feel. You were graded on compliance, not creativity. And when your spirit bucked against the structure, they diagnosed it, drugged it, or disciplined it. The religious system? It feared your intimacy with God, because systems prefer control, and you were born for communion. You weren't content with sermons that repeated old information. You craved revelation. You asked questions that made leaders uncomfortable. You wanted to know the God who speaks in dreams, who burns in bushes, who wrestles in the night. But instead, they gave you routine, tradition, condemnation dressed as holiness. They called your hunger rebellion, but it wasn't rebellion. It was remembrance. Even the media you consumed, the music, the movies, the news, was encoded with messages to dull your senses, hijack your attention, and hijack your imagination. They knew if they could program your mind, they could paralyze your spirit. So they created distractions, built idols, and manufactured narratives. They told you what beauty looks like. They told you what success means. They told you who you're allowed to be. And all of it was fiction sold as reality. And still, deep inside, your spirit resisted. Because your spirit does not digest lies, so the world labeled you. They called you unstable, too emotional, inconsistent, overly intense. They said you were unrealistic, hypersensitive, doing too much. But what they were really saying was, You're breaking the spell. You don't react the way they expect. You don't chase what they chase. You don't find pleasure in what distracts them. You are not hypnotized by the noise, because something in you knows the sound of truth. And that's why the deception had to be deep. That's why the illusion had to be powerful. Because if the enemy couldn't destroy you, he had to distract you. If he couldn't curse you, he had to confuse you. If he couldn't steal your power, he had to bury it under false programming. But no more. Today, we pierce the veil. We rip the mask off the world system, and we call it what it is: a spiritual simulation built to make you forget your assignment. You were not sent here to work a 9 to 5 and die. You were not sent here to accumulate things and call it meaning. You were not sent here to find safety in the approval of systems that were never made for you. You were sent here to shake foundations. You were sent here to expose the lie. You were sent here to activate others like you. You were sent here to embody the kingdom, not preach it, not perform it, but to be it. That's why you feel tension when you live below your calling. That's why your spirit aches when you're in environments that don't match your frequency. It's not ego. It's not pride. It's remembrance manifesting as discomfort. You are not rebellious. You are too awake to be manipulated. And yet, the deception was deep. Some of you have carried guilt for years. Guilt for being different, for not being able to fit in, for questioning things others blindly accepted. Let me speak life over you. That guilt is not yours. That shame was transferred to you by a system that feared your awakening. Because if a chosen one stands in truth, it threatens the whole illusion. And so now, the illusion begins to crumble. The fake smiles, the powerless routines, the performance-based faith, the shallow relationships, the false identities. Let it all fall, because what is true in you is rising, and once it rises, no system can contain it, no lie can silence it, no tradition can cage it. You are not 100% human, which means you were never meant to live like one. You are here to move differently, see differently, love differently, discern differently, create differently, live differently. And now that the veil has been torn, we must confront what that difference has cost you. Chosen one, now that you've remembered where you came from and the deception that tried to erase you, let's talk about what it's cost you, because truth has a price, and carrying divinity in a human shell comes with a weight you were never warned about. You've been wounded, not once, not twice, but over and over, not just by enemies, but by those who claim to love you, not just by strangers, but by blood, by mentors, by spiritual leaders. And you've wondered, why me? Why do I always feel like the one left out, left behind, misunderstood, or attacked? Why does the room grow quiet when I enter? Why do people project their fear, their jealousy, their insecurity onto me? Let me tell you something the world has tried to bury. Your suffering is not a sign of your failure. It is the signature of your assignment. Let that sink into your bones. You didn't suffer because you were cursed. You suffered because your light could not go unnoticed. You've been walking through this world like a lion raised among sheep. No one told you why your roar scared people. No one told you why your power drew both admiration and attack. They tried to tame you. They tried to cage you. They tried to silence you with shame. But a lion in a cage is still a lion. Its silence does not mean surrender. Its stillness does not mean it has forgotten how to hunt. Chosen one, you were not punished. You were processed. You were forged in the fires of rejection so that your discernment would become razor sharp. You were trained through betrayal so you could identify counterfeit spirits in seconds. You were broken, not to destroy you, but to remove everything that could be bought, manipulated, or seduced, because heaven cannot send untried vessels into battle. You had to be crushed so that only the oil remained. Look at your life, not with shame, but with revelation. You didn't get here because you did everything right. You got here because you survived what was meant to end you. And that's not ordinary. That's not human. That's divine resilience, woven into your very DNA. You've walked through storms that shattered others. You've cried tears that only God saw. You've wrestled with questions that had no answers. You've screamed at the heavens, not in rebellion, but in raw, honest hunger. And still, you're here, not bitter, not blind, not broken beyond repair, but burning, still burning, because the fire inside you is not your own. It is the fire of the one who sent you. You think you're weak because you've been weary, but weariness does not disqualify you. In fact, it proves that you've been carrying something heavy for a long time. Heaven knows. Heaven sees. Heaven honors it. You're not crazy. You're not unstable. You're not making it up. You are being refined. That dream that never left you, it wasn't a fantasy. That ache in your spirit, it wasn't emotional damage. That strange sense of urgency, it wasn't paranoia. It was your divine identity pressing through your humanity, trying to break out. Even your triggers are sacred. The things that hurt you the most, they are clues. They reveal what you were called to heal. The wound you carry is often the wound you were born to close. Your trauma has become your telescope. It allows you to see into others with supernatural clarity. You see the patterns. You feel the deception. You hear what goes unsaid. That's not just discernment. It's refined wisdom forged in the fires of experience. So yes, chosen one, your suffering has been great, but it has not been wasted, because the deeper the pain, the higher the calling, the greater the rejection, the greater the revelation, the darker the valley, the more dangerous the anointing. And you didn't go through all of that just to be a better person. You went through it to become a weapon. You are God's scalpel, sharp, precise, unapologetic. You've been through too much to play it safe now. You've lost too much to settle. You've grown too much to shrink. So stop interpreting your pain as a sign that God left you. Your pain was proof that He was with you in the fire, turning coal into diamonds. You are not a victim of your past. You are a vessel refined by the flames of divine formation. And now you stand here, not broken, but awakened, not afraid, but ready, not questioning your worth, but reclaiming your authority. Let the world call you too much. Let them call you intense. Let them misunderstand your silence and mock your hunger. None of that matters now, because your scars are sacred, your wounds are witnesses, and your life is a prophetic sign to everyone still asleep. So I'll ask you now, are you ready to awaken what has been dormant? Because what comes next is remembrance. Chosen one, it's time. It's time to wake up what's been sleeping, to stir what's been still, to unearth what was buried beneath layers of fear, religion, shame, and silence. Because you didn't just come here to remember a concept. You came to remember yourself. This is not about learning something new. It's about activating what's ancient inside you. That voice you've heard in the night, the dreams that never let you go, the fire that rises every time you hear Truth. That is your spiritual DNA calling itself forward. You were encoded before you ever entered your mother's womb. Heaven wrote something inside you that earth cannot erase. You are not a blank slate. You are a scroll unrolling in real time. And now, the scroll is being opened. You've been told you're just a person, a human, a body, but you've always sensed something other. That other is your origin. That other is your assignment. That other is the you that God knew before time. So hear me with your spirit. You are more than your name, more than your history, more than the skin you wear or the trauma you've survived. You are spirit, fire clothed in flesh. You've had moments, glimpses, maybe as a child, staring out the window, feeling homesick for a place you couldn't name. Maybe in prayer, when your words turned into groans and your chest burned with presence. Maybe during worship, when you left your body and hovered in stillness. Maybe in the silence between thoughts, when eternity whispered through you. Those were not hallucinations. They were holy memories. Your spirit was reaching beyond time, tapping into the frequency of your true self. You were not imagining it. You were remembering. So let me speak it over you now, not as information, but as activation. You are not here to survive. You are not here to perform. You are not here to people please, to play small, to blend in, to play dead. You are here to remember. And once you remember, you are here to walk in it. I don't care who tried to define you. I don't care who couldn't see you. I don't care what they called you, labeled you, or expected from you. Their definitions do not bind your destiny, because heaven called you something before anyone else ever named you. Let me remind you of that name. You are chosen. You are holy. You are set apart. You are royalty. You are spirit in motion. You are God's design in a world built to suppress designs like yours. You are here to speak when others stay silent, to burn when others stay cold, to lead when others run, to awaken when others sleep. So let me say it loud. Let me say it clear, because your spirit is ready. You were never meant to be ordinary, and that's why ordinary never satisfied you. You tried it. You tried to be normal. You tried to settle. You tried to care about the things they cared about. You tried to lower your volume, shrink your gifts, fake your peace, but your soul wouldn't let you, because your soul remembers. And now, it's time for your mind and body to catch up. So I speak this over you, not as encouragement, but as command. Awaken. Awaken to the blueprint hidden inside your bones. Awaken to the codes encrypted in your tears. Awaken to the fire that's been simmering under the surface of your silence. No more pretending. No more procrastinating. No more waiting for permission from people who don't even know who they are. You are not of this world. You never were. And now that you remember, you must live like it. Live like you've been sent. Live like you've been sealed. Live like every step you take is part of a cosmic plan unfolding through time. You are not random. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are right on time. And everything you've endured up to this moment, it was preparation for what you're about to carry. Because memory is not the end. It's the beginning. Now that you know who you are, it's time to live like it. Like chosen one. Now that you remember who you are, the question becomes, how do you live in a world that was never made to hold your truth? Because memory alone is not enough. It must become movement. You cannot carry divine DNA and live by human patterns. You cannot walk with heavenly purpose and move according to earthly rules. You must learn how to move as one who is not of this world. And no, you won't find this in a textbook or seminary. This instruction is written in your spirit. So listen closely. Feel this as much as you hear it. These are not lessons. They are alignments, realignments of your posture, your perception, your authority, your rhythm. First, you must stop seeking validation from what was never built to recognize you. This world cannot crown what it didn't create. They don't see you, not truly, because their eyes are carnal, and you are spirit-wrapped mystery. You keep exhausting yourself, trying to prove your heart, your worth, your calling to people who are spiritually blind. But their blindness is not your assignment. Chosen one, stop waiting for permission. Stop shrinking to avoid their fear. Stop apologizing for being ahead of your time. You are not here to fit the mold. You were sent to break it. The world will always resist what it cannot control. Let them misunderstand you. Let them talk. Let them speculate. Your assignment is not to convince them. Your assignment is to be faithful to the code inside you. Second, you must protect your spirit like it's sacred ground, because it is. Your spirit is sensitive because it is tuned to heaven's frequency. You feel deeply, not because you're fragile, but because you're an antenna for divine signals. So stop exposing yourself to atmospheres that drain you. Not everyone deserves access to your presence. Not every invitation is divine. Not every friendship is sacred. You don't owe anyone your energy. Be wise with your proximity. Be ruthless with your peace. Because when you allow chaos to dwell in your space, you short-circuit your assignment. Guard your gates, your eyes, your ears, your heart. Treat them like portals. If it doesn't feed your spirit, it's feeding your flesh. If it doesn't align with your future, it's pulling you into a past that's already been buried. Be deliberate, be sober, be holy, because you are not casual property. You are a vessel of the Most High. Next, you must speak with authority. Your voice is not just communication, it is a creative force. When you speak, realms listen. When you declare, atmospheres shift. You are not given a voice to echo opinions. You are given a voice to release heaven. So stop cursing your life with small talk. Stop speaking defeat. Stop agreeing with fear. Speak life. Speak vision. Speak destiny. Speak until the vibration of your words breaks the back of every lie sent to bind you. Your voice is your weapon, and the battlefield is sound. Every declaration you make in faith is a spiritual blow to the kingdom of darkness. So speak with the boldness of one who knows the authority in their blood. Walk like your words carry weight, because they do. This world was formed by the breath of God, and you were made in His image. So don't tell me your words don't matter. They do. They create. They unlock. They call forth. Use them wisely. You must also learn to walk by faith, not sight. Chosen one, what you see is not all there is. Your reality is not defined by the five senses. You were not made to walk by logic. You were made to walk by revelation. Stop waiting to see how it goes. Move when heaven says move, even when it doesn't make sense, even when there's no evidence, even when every voice around you says don't. Your GPS is spirit, not consensus. Faith is not wishful thinking. Faith is divine intelligence. Faith is remembering what your spirit knows, even when your eyes don't see it yet. So walk, step, move, speak, create, as if it's already done, because in eternity, it is. Lastly, and perhaps most urgently, stay connected to the source. Everything you carry flows from who you're plugged into. You can't run on yesterday's revelation. You can't survive on second-hand encounters. You can't live off recycled prayers. You need direct access. Your source is your lifeline. Abide in him, remain in him, dwell in the secret place. Let your life flow from intimacy, not industry, because apart from him, you will burn out. But in him, you become a flame that never dies. Let prayer be your oxygen. Let worship be your weapon. Let stillness be your strategy. Let the word be your mirror. Stay rooted in the vine, and you will never be fruitless. Everything you need, every answer, every direction, every solution, it's already in him, and he's already in you. So plug back in, return to the source, not religion, not routine, but relationship, because that is your home, that is your well, that is your secret place of power. And from that place, you will not just survive, you will reign. Chosen one, you didn't find this word found you. And now, the time has come, not just to be stirred, but to be sealed. Let every word spoken today echo in the chambers of your spirit. Let every layer of deception be burned away by the flame of truth. Let the sound of your divine origin reawaken everything that has been lying dormant. So I pray over you now, not in performance, but in power. O sovereign God, God of glory, fire, and thunder, I come boldly before your throne and lift up every chosen one under the weight of this message. Those who've walked through life feeling misplaced, those who have survived betrayal, silence, and isolation, those who have sensed something deeper, something eternal, something unexplainable moving in their soul. Father, today is the day of awakening. Let the fire of remembrance fall upon them like never before. Let every identity that came from trauma be shattered. Let every spiritual cage be broken. Let every lie spoken over them in childhood, in church, in culture, be consumed in the holy fire of your presence. I speak to the gift inside of them. I speak to the anointing they've been afraid to release. I speak to the warrior within the wounded. I speak to the prophet inside the outcast. Rise. Rise in boldness. Rise in clarity. Rise in full remembrance of who they were always meant to be. Let the wind of the Spirit blow off every covering. Let the oil of heaven flow through their hands, their mouth, their life. Let divine authority flood every cell of their being. I decree that this is the end of smallness. This is the end of delay. This is the end of spiritual amnesia. From this moment forward, they will walk like they remember. They will speak like they know. They will live like they were sent. No more shrinking. No more seeking validation from a system that was never qualified to measure their worth. No more asking permission to be who you created them to be. Father, protect them, surround them, fuel them, use them, and let their light not only awaken others, let it wreck darkness wherever it goes. In the mighty, unstoppable name of Yeshua, the Christ, the one who was not of this world and yet walked through it with power, I seal this activation with heaven's full agreement. Amen. Now, chosen one, if your spirit has been stirred by this word, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let this not just be a video you watched. Let it be a moment you memorialize. Tell us what this ignited in you. Tell us what it reminded you of. Your voice carries frequency. When you comment, you declare, I know who I am. And if you haven't already, hit that like button. It signals to the algorithm, yes, but more importantly, it's a sign to your spirit that says, I agree with heaven. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, Divine Chosen Ones, if you are ready for more words like this, words that break the chains, words that call you out of hiding, words that don't just teach, they ignite. And if this message has blessed you, and you feel led so into the mission. Whether through a gift, a prayer, or a share, your seed multiplies the reach. Your obedience helps awaken the next chosen one, still searching for a voice that sounds like home. You are not 100% human. You are not here to conform. You are here to shift, to stir, to shake the world from its sleep. So I'll leave you with this question. What if everything we've called normal was never meant to be? What if the strange ones, the sensitive ones, the rejected ones, were the ones who truly came from another realm? And what if that someone is you?